about it. It's making me remember when I got mine. It's just a nice feeling. I mean, you don't want to miss it if it's your dream to come to the UK. It's just the best feeling in the world. Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nanelle Griselda. I'm a proud Ghanaian and a UK registered nurse. Since I started posting stuff relating to my work here in the UK on social media, I've been getting loads of DMs on Instagram and on Snapchat where people were basically just asking how I became a UK registered nurse. And I'm always so happy to help people through the process, and I'm even happier, you know, when I get to help them and then they get through it successfully. They get here, they get their license, fully registered, they start practicing, they start making some money, and then they call me, you know, just to say thank you or whatever. And no matter how small the part I played, I always find that emotionally satisfying. Like, I was able to help somebody like achieve their dreams, and it's just so emotionally satisfying. However, it does get exhausting having to explain to individuals every single time from A to Z. It does get very exhausting. This is why I have decided to do a whole YouTube series where I'm going to talk about the entire process of becoming a nurse in the UK and even life after that, what to expect, you know, getting your first car, you know, getting your driver's license here in the UK, getting your first apartment, whatnot, like every single thing. I mean, I've been doing this since 2018. I'm a grandma in the game. I'm a grandma in the game now. So I'm just going to share everything, whatever information that I have or I had or wish I had that helped me through the process. This is going to be, you know, the very first episode or the very first part of the series I intend to do. In this video, I'm just going to give a brief overview of the entire process. I personally hate long YouTube videos. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible without making, you know, without withholding any vital information. Disclaimer. This is not the nursing uniform in the UK. If you're a girl, don't get too excited. You're not going to be wearing this. I just felt like wearing this, and I have these here because I wanted to, you know, something to represent nursing. That's why I have my work ID card and a set of stuff. If you are a nurse or a nursing student, this video is for you. So grab a pen and paper and let's get started. If you are not a nurse, this video might not be of interest to you, so I fully understand if you have to click off the video. But before you do, kindly subscribe. I will be posting beauty content, vlogs, and fashion and lifestyle as well, so kindly subscribe before you click off the video. You can also share it to your friend who's a nurse or someone you know who's a nursing student, and they will greatly appreciate it. If you've already started the UK nursing process, just so you know, there's been some slight changes from Monday, October 7, 2019. They have made some slight changes in the whole process. If you are not so sure whether these slight changes apply to you, just check your email. You should receive an email from the NMC of UK telling you whether these changes apply to you or not. If they do apply to you, I'm sure you receive an email. If you have not received the email, they probably don't apply to you. And if you've already written your CBT and you've already paid your registration fee, these changes do not apply to you. This video is the current procedure for registering to become a nurse in the UK. So if you're a nursing student or if you're a nurse, this is for you. I have personally grouped the steps into 7, I believe. And I'm just quickly going to talk about, you know, all the steps. Like I said, this is just going to be a brief overview. All right. So step 1. In step 1, you have to create an NMC online account. In this video, whenever I say NMC, I'm probably referring to the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK. So the step 1, you have to create an online account with them. You go to nmc.org.uk and then you click on the menu, you click joining the register, you click chat as a nurse or midwife, then you choose trained outside the EU. In this video, I'm just talking to Asians, Africans, Caribbeans, those who want to come to the UK. The process is quite different from people already in the EU, okay? And then after that, you click start my application. They'll ask you a few questions about your nationality and then where you schooled, and then you can register and then create an NMC online account. Kindly keep the login details or whatever details you use, your password and the email address, kindly keep them safe. and then always make sure that your personal details on that account is always updated, because even when you get here, that's the same account you'll be using. So now that you've created the NMC online account, what is the next stage? The next stage is the eligibility and qualification stage. In this stage, you'll be doing two things. One is provide proof of your identity, and two is to provide proof of your registration or your qualification. Let's talk about the identity. Here, you'll be asked to upload your passport and also key in some details on your passport. Please make sure it's a valid passport. Make sure it's a passport that is in date. We don't need any passport that's expiring in the next 3 months. Make sure it's in date and it's valid. And also make sure that the name on this passport matches the name on the other documents you'll be presenting or providing in the remaining process. So let's say my name is Nanelle, and on the passport your name is Nanelle KFC, but on your nursing certificate your name is Nanelle KFC McDonald. If probably you have a new name or a new surname due to marriage or divorce or whatever, you have to provide the evidence that this is the reason why my names do not match on this form or on that form. So you need to provide your marriage certificate or your divorce certificate to just explain why your names do not match. And that's it. So next thing you do in this stage is the evidence of your qualification or your registration. Here, if you're already a nurse, you should be registered with the nursing council in your country. So you're going to provide details of your council or the nursing regulator in your country, and then the NMC of UK is going to verify from them whether the details you have provided are really true, and then you're qualified to practice in the country you said you are in, or the country you claim to be practicing in. If you are a nursing student and you've not been registered, you don't have a license yet with the council, you'll be providing information about your training institution, and you're just going to contact your training institution and then verify that you do indeed have that qualification, and then that qualification satisfies you to work in the country. So just bear in mind, you have to contact these bodies first before you put your details in the process. If it's the nursing council in your country, they have to be aware you're using them, so that when they get contacted, it won't be a surprise. This stage is £140 and it is not refundable. Bear in mind, if your nursing training lasted for 2 years, I hate to burst your bubble, but this is not for you. The UK normally requires people with a 3-year nursing degree or diploma. However, do not be discouraged. You can always upgrade, get a diploma, get a degree, and then do the process. It's as simple as that. This stage is £140 and it is not refundable, so make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you're eligible before you even start the process. So that's the end of step 2. Step 3 is the test of competence. Here, you'll be asked of two things: a CBT, that's a computer-based exam or a computer-based test, and an OSCE, which is a practical exam. Don't get scared. Why are you scared already? Just because you had exam, why are you scared? Let me tell you this. You don't obviously expect them to tell you to pack your bags and then get here and start taking care of people because you said you're a nurse in your country. They need to test that you're competent to provide safe and effective care to the sick when you get here. And that is exactly what you'll be asked to do. You're a nursing student. You've been taught this. Or you're a nurse. You know this already. This should not bother you. You don't have to worry. You'll be able to ace it, okay? It's just not trouble at all. Forget about it. So that's what you'll be doing. But bear in mind, the practical exam, you would have to do it when you get here. But the computer-based exam or the computer-based test, you do it in your country. They have Pearson-viewed test centers in almost every country. So where you can just book and register and then sit the exam. And then that's it. So that's the third stage, is it? So the fourth stage is the completion of the registration process. Here you'll be asked to provide about 4 more evidences, and that is your health evidence. You have to obviously prove that you're of good health, and then you need to prove that you're of good health, obviously, because you need to be healthy yourself to provide health care for somebody else. So here they would ask details of your doctor or your registered medical professional who has checked you or tested you and then is sure that you're of good health to come and practice. They'll also make you tick a form that is basically self-declaring that you're healthy. So that's just for the health. And then when it gets to your character evidence, you'd have to provide that you're of good character. Obviously, nursing is a noble profession and you have to be of good character to be able to practice as a nurse. So here, you'd also have to take a form to self-declare that you're of good character. Again, they'll need you to provide police clearance. in the country where you are in, or any other country that you've practiced, or any country that you've ever lived for 12 months or more. Here again, they may also ask for references from your employer that you've been with for the last 3 years, or your training institutions if you've not had an employer. That's if you don't have any work experience yet. So that's for the character. The third one is the indemnity. I don't really want to talk about that because it's obviously, it just means that when you get here, you're going to get insured. Make sure that you're insured, blah blah blah. That's easy. Scratch that. Then the next thing is the English language. Obviously, here in the UK, the language of communication is English. So you need to prove that you can speak good English. Communication is vital when providing care for people. So obviously they need to be sure that you can communicate with your patients or your residents when you get here. That's just it. If you're understanding what I'm saying right now, that means you understand English. So why should you be scared of IELTS exam? Yes, that's what you'd be writing, an IELTS exam. An IELTS, as some people call it, exam. I don't know why this is the most feared part of the entire process with so many nurses, but I don't think this should be the most feared part of the entire process. It's just like any other exam. After you provided all these evidences, you're going to then submit them, and then you're going to pay £153 for it to be evaluated. This amount of money is refundable if you decide not to follow the process again, or if you change your mind. This amount is refundable. So when you submit this form, it's going to take them about 35 days to get back to you and then get you a decision. If after 35 days you don't hear from them, you can always appeal so that you can just work on yours. Bear in mind, if you provide detail, if you provide anything that does not meet their standard, they may get back to you and ask you to provide like the right thing. Let's say you're supposed to upload an original document and then you upload a photocopy. They'll get back to you to upload an original. It's just an example I'm giving, and that thing can delay your process. So make sure that you follow the exact things and then you deliver just as you've been asked. For more information, you can always go on their website and read into detail. Right. So the next thing is the agency stage. Bear in mind, this stage, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do all that before you do this. You can do this at the beginning of the process, you can do it in the middle, or you can do it now after you've submitted all the other evidences and you're waiting for your decision letter. But what I think is that now there's so many people, there are thousands of people coming in daily from all sorts of parts of the world. And then if you have not passed your exams yet, the agencies might not take you serious. But then once you get to them, and then you've already passed your IELTS exam, you've already passed your CBT, and then they're like, oh, okay. And then they begin to take you serious, and then they can just push you to the beginning of the queue because they know you're a serious person. That is why I have decided to put it at this end. And then some people think they do not need an agency. I think you need an agency. What is an agency anyway? An agency is just like a third-party organization that is going to be like your link or your connection to your prospective employer. They're going to find out from you where you want to work in the UK, whether it's Northern Ireland, whether it's England, Scotland, Wales, and then they're going to get you like an employer based on what you want, and they're going to arrange for an interview, an online, like let's say a WhatsApp or a Skype interview with your prospective employer to help you pass the interview. Yes, they do that. And then also they're going to get a good package for you. They're going to get, some of them are even able to get your employer to pay back all the money that you wasted in the entire process, or give you like a bonus, a welcome bonus when you come. People got like £1,000 bonuses and all that. It's just so exciting. So I think you need an agency. They know the job. It's their job. That's what they do. They help you get an employer or a sponsor in the situation. And then to the stage, you do your interview, you pass your interview, then your employer will give you an offer letter. And then after they give you the offer letter, they'll help you get a certificate of sponsorship. That's just like a work permit sort of in this whole process. So you get your COS or your certificate of sponsorship from your employer, you get your decision letter from the NMC, and then these two together with other documents, you use this to apply for your tier 2 visa. That's the exciting part. You apply for your visa, and then you get your visa. The agency will help you get sponsorship from your employer, like I said earlier, with your flight and everything, your ticket and everything. And even when you get here, most of them do pay for accommodation for, like, let's say the first month, the first 6 months, the first 3 months, or the first 6 weeks, or whatever it is that you agree on. And then that's just it. But bear in mind, when you do get here, that's when you're coming to do the final practical exam. You do the final practical exam, that's the OSCE. Your employer is going to get you some lessons, and then you write the OSCE, sit for the OSCE, you pass your OSCE, and then you finally get your license. Just the icing on the cake. Like, talking about it is making me remember when I got mine. It's just a nice feeling. I mean, you don't want to miss it. If it's your dream to come to the UK, it's just the best feeling in the world. Bear in mind that the entry level for nurses in the UK is band 5. The ranks of nursing is in bands. I'm a band 5 nurse, so band 6 is obviously higher than a band 5. Band 7, so as you go along, you can get promoted, and then you get to band 6 with experience as well. And if you're competent, you can get to the various bands that you want. But what I'll say, and then what you have to know is that when you come here, you can start working as you're preparing for the practical exam. They will let you start working, but not as a band 5. You start working as a band 4 nurse, and then you'll be making money alongside. You'll be making some money alongside, some cool cash alongside, and you pass your exam, and then that's just it. So this is basically the entire process. Let me just summarize. So first of all, you need to be eligible before you even continue. I'm telling you, a 3-year degree or diploma is what is normally required. So you create an NMC online account, and then you do the eligibility and qualification stage where you pay £140. You provide your identity evidence and your qualification or your registration evidence, and you wait for them to tell you to complete the remaining process. Here you have to put in your mind that you're going to be doing two papers, 2 exams: the CBT exam, that's the computer-based test, and then the OSCE. But the CBT will be done in your country, and the OSCE is when you get here, that's when you do it. And then the 4th stage is the completion of the registration process, where you provide all these 4 more evidences. You submit the form, you pay £150, and then they evaluate, and then you send you the decision letter. Along the line, you get to an agency, they get you an employer, or they get you an employer or a sponsor. They arrange for an interview for you. They help you pass the interview. Then they get you your work permit or your certificate of sponsorship. You get a cool deal. You arrange and negotiate to get a cool deal. And then you apply for your visa, and you get here. You take some lessons for the OSCE. You start working as a band 4 nurse. You take some lessons, OSCE lessons, with the help of your employer. And then you pass your OSCE, and then you get your license. So that's just basically the entire process. I know people are by now wondering how much is involved in the whole process, how long it took me to get fully registered. But we're going to do another video where I talk about all that, okay? So relax, all right? Thank you for watching. Bye.